affect their bottom line, then they're going to do what you do in the market, which is use the cheapest energy sources, even if you've got outdated equipment, outdated machinery, because that impact is on somebody else. But if we set up a cap and trade system, as I'm talking about, which says every utility, we're going to charge you for the greenhouse gases you send in the atmosphere that is creating global warming. We're going to put a dollar price on every unit of pollution that you cause. Now, they've got an incentive to start lowering the amount of pollution that they're emitting. And the reason you call it a cap and trade system is if they go under the cap, if they reduce it even less, they can sell those credits to other folks who are less energy efficient. This is, by the way, how you remember acid rains? The young people here won't remember. But remember, that was a big deal. Back in the 70s and 80s, everybody was worried about all our forests being destroyed by acid rain. The reason nobody talks about it anymore was because we set up a cap and trade system for the sulfur that was being emitted, and it actually worked. And it was cheaper than anybody had anticipated. So we've got to do the same thing when it comes to global warming. That's an example. You set the rules of the game, and then you say, okay, now let free enterprise in the marketplace figure out how you can make money doing the right thing instead of doing the wrong thing. All right? Okay. Can you guys pass that mic forward?
Okay, now I'm really nervous, but I'll try to.
It's okay.
All right, I'm trying to introduce family history. I'm on disability, and my husband's on VA disability. We have a family of 4. We just found out that my husband had to quit his job so I can remain on disability. I cannot afford my subscription to $3,000 a month plus my health care. What would you do for families like us? Because I'm sure we're not the only one.
Well, you know, listen, I would, first of all, you did really well. That was really succinct. And obviously, I'd have to look at your specific situation to know exactly how the government can be more help to you, but here's what I can tell you. Number one, if your husband has VA disability, he should be in the VA. He should be getting all the health care services that he needs. It should be fully funded. He should not have to wait in line for hours. He should not have to drive for 4 hours to get to a VA facility. I want to make sure that our Veterans Health Services are the best health services possible. That is something that is a priority. So that's point number one. Point number 2, in terms of prescription drugs, the reason that we're still paying too much for prescription drugs, especially those who are on Medicare, is that we didn't allow Medicare to negotiate for the cheapest available price on drugs. That's how the Canadians have lowered drug prices. That's how every other country has lowered gas prices. And the reason we didn't do it is because the drug companies helped write the law. And we are going to change that. I am going to eliminate that provision, and we are going to negotiate for the cheapest available price on drugs when I'm President of the United States of America. Now, the last point has to do with sort of disability payments. If you're on, say, Social Security disability, I would have to look at your situation to know exactly what category you fall in. But I certainly meet a lot of people who have not seen their disability increase to keep pace with inflation. And so one of the things that I'm going to have to look at in an overall budget is, are there ways that we can provide more assistance to people who are sufficiently disabled that they can't work? And if they can't work, how are we making sure that at least they've got a roof over their head and they're able to put food on the table? Okay? All right. It's the guy's turn. There we go. Can we get a mic up here real quick? Sorry to make you guys run. Or at least walk fast. But I want to make... Hello! All right, here we go.
Senator Barack, I recently saw a film called Who Killed the Electric Car, where they depict the... You've seen it too. And they depict how the big car companies deliberately demised a very functional electrical vehicle that people wanted and were crying that they would not have them taken away on a lease basis. I don't know if you've seen the film.
I haven't seen the film, but certainly I've heard about the film. And look, here's what I want to do. I want us to explore every technology that can increase mileage and make us more energy efficient. So part of my goal, when I said I want to get $150 billion and invest it over 10 years in clean, renewable energies, part of that money would go to the research and development around every conceivable way to make cars more efficient. Hybrids, plug-in hybrids, electric cars, hydro, you name it, whatever opportunities are out there for us to make cars more efficient, then we've got to develop it. And by the way, let me not leave out mass transit, because that's something that we don't talk about a lot. And I know that generally in a state like South Dakota, where populations are so spread out, it's hard to make rail line service or bus service as efficient as it needs to be. But I do think that if we started looking at high-speed rail, that is something that can make a big difference, even here in South Dakota, all throughout the Midwest. I mean, you think about it. We built the Intercontinental Railway System, and now we are so far behind other countries when it comes to rail service. And given the cost of an airline ticket because of jet fuel costs, given the hassle of taking off your shoes and all that stuff, there are a lot of people who would love to be able to travel to Chicago, or travel from Chicago to Milwaukee, or go from Milwaukee to St. Louis, or go to Detroit. You can connect up the whole Midwest with high-speed rail, and it would end up being a very good option for a lot of people, and it wouldn't take that much longer than flying when you factor in everything, and it would be cheaper. So, and think about all the people that we could put to work building. This is an example of the kind of infrastructure that we should be building in anticipation of our needs in the future. But we need some imagination, we need some long-term thinking instead of short-term thinking out of our White House and our president. All right. I don't want to neglect folks up here. Got a big Obama t-shirt over there. So I gotta call on that young lady.
Thank you. I just had a question. As a member of the military community here in Rapid City, my husband just retired last year. He had to wait 6 months to get a physical with the VA for disability.
Right.
And I understand we need to bring all of our troops home. Our VA is so stretched to the limit right now. How do you propose helping the VA to take care of our veterans that are here in the States now and the ones that are going to be coming home? And also, as being in the military for the past 20 years, I have seen our benefits decrease. Our medical insurance, you say you want to cover pre-existing conditions. We have conditions that were caused as dependents by the military, either from surgeries or other things, and now our healthcare system, TRICARE, will not cover them.
Right.
Well, so what my concern is what are you going to do to help the military health care that is already in place as far as pre-existing conditions, and the VA that is so stressed with all the veterans, whether they be coming back from the wars or that are already in the system?
Yeah. Well, it's a great question. First of all, thank you for your service, because when we send somebody over to fight, we're sending their family too. And we really appreciate what you've gone through.